I want to help this vision. So I hope that like with this, we said 1,000. How can we help you get the 1,000? Now you're fucked. Now you're fucked. It's a minimum 1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, and I find when we do that, it's scary because now it's recorded. You're fucked, and I'm not editing this. I'm not changing anything. I don't edit anything we say in here. My mom called on the last episode. I left it in there.
Oh man.
You know. Hey Giuliano, thank you for coming here today. You're lucky you caught a parking. Usually in general, people bitch at me when they have to come to the plateau, but you're a lucky one. So thank you for coming here today.
Thanks for having me, Stef.
You know, I think one of the best ways to start sometimes, especially like we met each other recently. It's not as though we've known each other for years. Some previous guests, I've known them for a long time, but you, I think it's maybe a few weeks.
Yep.
We've never met. We just had a quick conversation, but mainly through text. And we met basically because of a past episode that I released with Vanessa DiTullio and the Jason DiTullio Foundation and my buddy Jay that passed away. So I saw that you were supporting them and doing some sort of donations and a campaign with them. And I loved the idea. And I said, let me reach out to this guy. I think it's really cool what he's doing. And I want to know more. So maybe, tell me a bit more about what in general, we'll go say fuck you, but but for all humankind united, if I'm not mistaken, what this is about, and maybe give us a bit of an idea before we even get into anything.
I want to start by saying thanks for having me. Appreciate
anytime.
it. I've been trying to get on a few podcasts, and I'm very happy that I'm on this one. That's for sure.
Best one.
The best one. So for all humankind united. Fuck you for short.
Yeah, I loved it. By the way, the thing that caught my attention the most before you even start was the logo. Because I'm a sucker for skulls and stuff like that. Clearly, you could tell by my own logo. I'm a Guns N' Roses, like that whole stuff. And then when I saw like this "fuck you" but a heart on top of it, is where it was a bit like, okay, that's what caught my attention right away was your logo on Instagram. And then I dug in and found out a little more. So I'll let you speak now.
That was like part of the goal with the logo, right? Is for it to be a talking point. Like you're gonna wear it and be like, what is that? And that's gonna spark the conversation as to what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, you want the long story or the
I
short
want
story?
We have all the time here in the world. So give me the long one.
All right. So, I used to work in a clothing store. One of my first jobs was in a clothing store. And it was right around the time of Tom's shoes came out.
Okay.
You ever heard of Tom's?
Yeah.
Do you buy a pair? Do you don't need a pair? And I said, like, the business part of it is amazing. I said, like, essentially, what's your cost on a pair of shoes to donate it? And I said, the giving back part is even more incredible. I said, one day I want to try something like this. I got to try something. Like, I love the giving back aspect. I said, I love the maybe like the fashion part of it. I said, instead of just giving donations, I wanted to try something one day. But this, we're talking like 2008.
Okay, so this is an idea that
started years ago.
Okay, so it's not something recent.
No.
Okay.
The whole concept of what I did, yes, it's recent.
Okay.
But the part of creating a business with the giving back aspect, it's always been around.
So what started that? Like, what was it? Just this brand, or did you always kind of have this affinity to want to do something that is a bit bigger than you? I know I'm cutting a bit into your story, but I mean, it's
but that's exactly. So like, I don't know when. Listen, 2008, I was 18, a young kid, whatever. Like, and I wanted to make a difference. Like, I just wanted to try something.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say like I was the most amazing person in the world, but like I just said, there's something behind giving back.
Okay.
But that idea obviously felt dead for a long time.
Why? What was it that kind of got in the way, you think?
Everything else.
Just life in
just
general?
Life. You know, you're 18 years old, you started going out, you're working, you're in school, you're studying. And then throughout the years, the idea was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
One day I was on LinkedIn. I see a company that they essentially created like sort of like a barrel that you can be able to carry or roll on land.
Okay.
And they were doing what do you call those? They were running like a campaign.
Okay. Like a promo thing, like
I mean a promo thing when you raise money to
like a fundraiser,
almost like a Kickstarter.
Okay.
They're running a Kickstarter campaign, and I reached out to them like, "Do you guys have anything like? What's the goal with it? How's it working? Like, do you have any products out yet?" So what they did with this barrel was they were doing a Kickstarter to raise as much money as possible, to donate these barrels to people in Africa to bring water from the well to their homes.
Okay.
So I'm like, this is genius, because you're gonna create some sort of income, and you're gonna be donating these barrels.
Yeah. So
And
you're
that
doing
felt
good
dead.
for everybody, for
Yeah,
yourself and
exactly.
to help people. Yeah.
That felt dead. Like there was no back and forth communication, whatever. Okay. A couple years later, I said, oh, let me try something else with some T-shirts. Dead. Then we come to 2019, and I was personal training full time back then.
Okay.
I was full-time personal trainer, and on top of personal training, I had my own DJ company. I still have it, and there was a lot going on in my life, and I was like, not to say I was in a dark place, but because you're so stressed,
Yeah.
everything irritates you,
Everything.
right?
When you have too much on a plate,
Everything was irritating me.
yeah. Nothing is actually going, like, even if things are going well, you're not enjoying any of the process because you're
Nailed it.
just,
Nailed it.
you're burning on it, like, at all levels that you just can't enjoy any of it.
Nailed it. So I'm at the gym training a client, and people, besides this client, in general, when I'm training clients, people keep asking me questions.
Like what?
How do you do this exercise? How do you do this? Would you do that? But I'm like, guys, do you understand? Like, this person is paying me for the time. You can't keep asking me questions.
Yeah.
So that flipped around, and I looked at my client. I'm like, man, I should walk around with like a middle finger on my t-shirt. Just like, fuck off. Like, stop busting my balls. I'm in a training session.
Yeah.
Stef, I don't know what happened. Something clicked. And I said, all this negativity,
Yeah.
fuck, we can flip it around.
Yeah. How can I use this?
Then from there, that whole hour training session, I don't even think I charged the person because my mind went nuts. Then from there, I said, oh my God, I can start something with this. It could be called FAHKU, then it's FAQ. Then people are going to say, oh no, it's frequently asked question. It's not good.
Yeah.
And I'm like within an hour, my brain is going crazy. I'm like, FH, like for all people, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then boom, for all humankind united. But humankind is one word.
Yeah.
I said, fuck it, I'll split it. Like, who's stopping me from splitting it?
And no one's just saying, oh no,
exactly.
we have to change this.
But human and kind, right?
Yeah.
So we're using two separate words. For all humankind united was born.
So it's crazy. Maybe I'd love to kind of dive into that. When you have a moment like that, like I find sometimes I have that too, where something just hits. You know, there's this good idea, and you like, oh my God, there's this crazy like stimulation almost that's happening in your brain where you can't even explain it. I tend to write. Like I write it down and then I try to read back what the hell I wrote, and half of it I'm like, what? It's like it makes no sense almost. But there's elements of that.
Yes.
What did you do? Like, how did you remember the idea? Because I tend to forget after. Because then you kind of get sucked back into that world of, let's say, the training. Like, what happened?
It just stuck.
It just stuck, and then you went home and you started. Like, what did you do?
2019.
Okay.
But it just stuck, and this was earlier on in the year. And then, every time I would see her, the client, we would talk about it, just like briefly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I gotta get a t-shirt made with a middle finger on it, just to see what it would look like.
Yeah.
Like a prototype. And I would get like FAQ written on the side, just because like I just want to see what it would look like. My birthday came up that year, and she got the t-shirt done for me.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got the t-shirt. I'm like, oh my God, wow, it's crazy. That's 2019.
It's kind of weird
then,
when you start seeing, because it's like, it's real.
It's like, okay, I don't like this particular style of finger, but like, it could be cool. Like, then I was wearing it for a whole year.
Yeah.
People are like, why are you telling me to F off?
Like,
and then I'm like,
you specifically, I don't like.
Exactly. Exactly. Then that would spark the conversation as to what would be my goal with the middle finger.
Yeah.
And because I kept speaking about like what I wanted to do with it, like you said, how to remember it, it's because I kept speaking about it.
Yeah.
Now we're in 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020. And from 2019 to 2020, I was noticing how more and more people in society, they seem to be so entitled.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
okay, yeah. Well, what do you mean by that? Like, more entitled?
How can I say this?
You can say it how you want. Like, there's no filter here.
Not because I'm not politically correct, but like,
Yeah.
you couldn't. Like, what happened to being able to say hi to somebody on the street?
Yeah.
Not saying I want to go around the hey to everybody.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Exactly. But like, you couldn't walk around and not look down at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wearing a brand name T-shirt. You're looking down at me. I'm not like. I'm walking straight on a sidewalk that's full of people. I'm walking with my wife, and like, you guys, you can't move out of the way. I have to go around you while you're having your conversation.
Yeah.
Or you're just looking down on me because I'm not wearing like, I don't know, a brand or something.
Yeah.
And it really aggravated me, because I said, what happened to us being humans?
Yeah. Just being nice.
No, I'm not saying you don't even have to say hi to me, but just like a bit of courtesy. I don't know. How were you raised on a farm?
No, but I hear you. Like there's sometimes where it's like little things where I notice now. Let's say I'm walking with my girlfriend and we're walking with the baby, and it's like I would always get out of the way if I saw like someone with a stroller, like just move aside.
Yeah.
And I notice it's like, what the fuck? Like,
No, dude, it's the opposite.
yeah,
now.
it's like it's almost like I get looked
Yeah,
at like, why
yeah.
why you with this baby on the sidewalk, you know?
Yeah.
So I do agree to some extent for sure that there is this lack of like just
Humanness. I don't know. Like
yeah,
just
just normal common courtesy.
Yeah,
like
of
common
course.
courtesy. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, continue.
So I was noticing a bit of that, and again, the concept of brand was always in the back of my mind. And for about a year and a half, I got off all the social media.
Why did you feel like you needed to get off social media?
Because of the whole stuff in 2020.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was too intense.
I couldn't take it. Like there was too much of this and too much of that, and I said, okay, I'm off. And I was almost reluctant to start the brand because I didn't want to get back on social media. But I said the only way I'm going to be able to promote it for free, is through social media.
It's kind of like this love-hate relationship with it, is that you can build something really special on it, but the same way could be extremely toxic. Like 100%. It can completely 100%. Consume you in such a bad way. But if you don't let it consume you in that way, it could be one of the like best resources as a business, but even just to kind of connect with people, have fun.
Of course. And it's free.
And it's free. Well, we're the product, but
yes, yes, exactly. But it's free. It costs you your time. But when you're starting off, you obviously understand. Like, what do you have? Money or time? You have time.
Mm-hmm.
So go.
Yeah, that's the one you have a lot of.
So end of 2020, I'm having dinner with family, and I'm wearing the t-shirt again. And a family member tells me, he's like, "Why are you telling me to F off with your t-shirt?" And like, this is the holidays of 2020, and I explained to him the story behind. He's like, "Dude, like, what are you waiting for to start it?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "What's it gonna take to start it?" Something clicked, and I said, "I gotta start it right now." So I went home during the holiday season, and I started researching. Then January came around, and I'm researching and I'm checking, and like I literally wrote on Google anti-hate organizations because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew what I wanted to do. So as much as anti-hate is such a broad term, I didn't want to just do anti-bullying. I just didn't want to do anti-racism. I didn't just want to do like something specific. I wanted to do something that was a little bit more broad.
Yeah.
That encompasses just being nice.
Yeah.
Right? So all of January, whatever, researching. And I said, okay, you know what? February will be a good month to launch because we have anti-bullying day.
Yeah. Well, when I scrolled back on Instagram, I noticed that was kind of like the theme at the beginning was anti-bullying.
Yes.
So that's always a question I was going to ask is why anti-bullying was the one that kind of screamed out to you to start with?
I feel like when I think back to the whole me seeing people like too entitled to like be even nice, then like I go back to my weak point, which is children. And it's like, okay, so now you have a parent that's entitled, teaching their child to be entitled, and that child goes to school and bullies
someone that doesn't have as
much as they have. So I said, like, maybe try something with anti-bullying, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
And my first month, I must have sold maybe like 25 pieces, which I said, amazing. Yeah. But it's all friends and family, right?
Yeah, but it's support,
right? It's amazing.
Yeah, someone actually
went out of their way and took money out of their pocket. Yes, and paid for the hoodie. I started off with hoodies and crew necks. So we started off with anti-bullying. And as the months progressed, it wasn't just anti-bullying, it was anti-hate. Because then in March, there's International Women's Day.
Yeah.
So I did something for domestic violence.
Okay.
We donated to a women's shelter. And then in April, we did something for autistic children. Because the reality is that kids with disabilities get bullied, right? So it always came back to bullying, but I said I have to get away from bullying.
Yeah.
Because that's not the whole point of it. I want to be seen as an anti-bullying brand. I want to be seen as a making a difference brand.
Well, I think it's what's cool about how you saw that was that a lot of times it would have been easy to stay there. And like now that it had started growing with the concept of anti-bullying, it's like, okay, let me just stick with this. It seems to not right away, but you found something maybe. Mm-hmm. But you kind of went back to the original idea where it's not about a specific cause, it's about being kind.
Yes.
So, you need to be kind, someone that's been bullied, someone that has domestic abuse or anything like that. So the theme is that, and for you to remember that, a lot of times it's tough to go back to what your original thought was because the train has left the station. So you kind of feel like,
you got to ride it.
I got to ride this now.
Yep.
I had a previous guest that his restaurant was going in a direction he didn't really want it to, but it was doing well. but he didn't envision the restaurant that way. And then he had an accident that happened. The place burned down. You know what I mean? And so it put him. No, I'm not letting this happen again. Hold on, let me take this phone off. But he had a literally a fire that burned down the restaurant, and that actually kind of gave him a blank canvas again to say, okay, where was my original idea?
Yeah.
So you caught yourself in one way to go back to your original
Yes, 100%.
concept and bring it back to life. So yeah, you were saying you were noticing that the anti-bullying, but you didn't want to get caught up in that.
And then like I mentioned, I had no idea where I wanted to go with this. I had no idea like how I was gonna do it, but I said, you know what, let's just try one month at a time. And I noticed, okay, every month there could be something in particular happening that month.
Yeah.
And if there isn't, then we could figure something out. So as the months progressed, we went from donating to I don't even know where to begin. Last August, so I'm running the same campaign this August, and it's probably gonna be every August moving forward. I somehow came across an organization called Regroupement Partage, and what they do is they accumulate donations, material donations, and they run a campaign every August called Opération Sac à Dos, and they give back school supplies to underprivileged kids.
Okay.
So I came across this organization, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is really where I want to go.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that my following, they resonated a lot with if they can see where the money is going to.
Yeah. I noticed you just started doing that. You were talking about it, like how this is going, like on your social media page. You're telling people,
yes,
this is what we're doing.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But then you don't see the impact. So it's hard to know what are they really doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're very transparent with it. And I think that's what also helps the idea. Like, okay, this person's actually really doing what he's saying.
Hopefully it helps.
Oh, for sure. Like when I saw the videos, I said, okay, that's because, people will say, oh, we donated this. Okay, great. But like, how did you do it? Where did you do it? Like you went into a little more detail to at least let someone know that, okay, this is an organization, not only like cool clothes, but I can trust.
My top goal or my priority was always to keep the integrity intact. Mm-hmm. Like for me, putting aside the brand, my word is my everything. So when I took that and I brought it into creating this brand, I always told myself that if you say something, you got to pull through. Mm-hmm. And you have to be as transparent as possible. People need to know what you're doing with their money because they take money out of their pockets, their hard-earned money, to donate to what you're doing. So you got to make sure you're as transparent as possible. So August, we donated the school bags, and my goal was like 10 school bags. We ended up donating 42 school bags.
Wow.
It's nuts.
That's 4 times more
than
what you had expected.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That's amazing.
Nuts. Then in October, we collected donations for the homeless.
Okay.
In form of clothing. So I went around literally Montreal and I collected everyone's leftover clothes or lightly used clothes. And we set up a table in front of Barrie UQAM Metro beginning of November. Within an hour, all the clothes were gone.
Wow.
But it was sick. Like I left there and
How did you feel?
Good, but I said, there's more.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't satisfied.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was a bad thing or if it's a good thing. I'm not sure. But I wasn't satisfied. Because I know that with a little effort and a little following that I had, I was able to do this. Like, how can we make this larger? How can we grow this larger than Montreal?
Yeah.
How can we hit North America, the world? But we'll get there eventually, right?
Well,
little steps.
It's funny you say that. Like, I'd read a few like Tony Robbins books. I remember when I was younger, and someone had. I remember he mentions a story, and I'm paraphrasing it, obviously, but when he was a kid, someone showed up to his house and brought like a Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, and his dad was like super pissed because it kind of like embarrassed him in front of his family, his ego, whatever. As a man of the house, he couldn't support it, whatever. But that person that had shown up with that turkey and whatever had impacted him, like understanding being the person that needed to eat, let's say on Thanksgiving, and that needed that extra help. And then he had started this thing, like every Thanksgiving he would go personally and he would go bring people, and it started off with like a few, and now this is like millions of meals are every year, I think. So it's like, it's not crazy. Like it has to start somewhere, and then where it goes, that's you never know. Just ride the wave, and the bigger it gets. So it's the fact that you had that feeling, and then you're like, how can we do this, and how can we make it bigger? it makes sense. You know, it's not something insane what you're saying, and obviously, I think with the support that you're getting from a lot of people, it's they see that vision and they're like, okay, how do we help with this vision? So sorry, continue
No,
about
it's fine. You're on point 100%. So we got the clothing for the homeless in October. November, I didn't really align with anything that was happening in November, and I said, you know what? I had heard about a foster home in where I live in Laval, and there's a foster home in the area, not too far away, and obviously, like it's a home like every other home. Like you drive by it 100 times, you'll never know it's a foster home. But I got word of it from a parent that has their kid at a school nearby,
Okay.
and I said, I want to do something for these kids. I said, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll do something for these kids. Like I literally had zero idea, but I said, whatever money we get, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do an experience day for them. I just want to get them out of the home.
Okay.
Even if we rent out, I don't know, an amusement place or like anything,
Just
just
something, yeah.
something for them to just feel like your kids. Like it's fine. Like
Yeah.
whatever you're going through is temporary. This all ended up happening in the month of November. I reached out to the organization. I met with them in front of the home October 31st. They're getting ready for Halloween with the kids, and I spoke to one of the educators, and he's like, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "I just want to do something for the kids."
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's it." Okay. He's like, "I'll give you some ideas." I said, "Just come back with me with some ideas. What you feel like we're able to do with them? Can we get them out of the home? Like what the whole logistics are?" Took care of all the logistics. For that campaign, some way, somehow, Rocco Placentino reached out to me. I reached out to him, and like he partnered up with me, and he helped me out so much with that campaign. He ended up being able to get a gym in a school. We got the kids all personalized soccer jerseys. We got them all soccer balls. We got them a meal for lunch. We got them desserts. Like we got them like a whole day. We did a whole day of painting. Like it was amazing.
That's amazing.
And this is all from like I put out a video. Hey, I want in. Hey, I want in. Here, I want in. How can we help? How can we help? How can we help?
That's the beauty of social media.
And we put everything together. Yes,
That's
exactly.
the beauty of social media.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was nuts. And then I'm like, okay, this is like we're getting somewhere with this. Now again, targeting the kids. Then the Tony Robbins story for Thanksgiving. Along those lines for Christmas, my goal was to feed 10 families a meal for Christmas. I said, like, how expensive could it be? All the money that we spend on gifts every year with family and this and that, I'll have to go buy them this, I have to go buy them that.
Yeah.
I said 10 meals. I said a maximum at $100 a meal for 4 people. I said I'm pushing it. $1,000. I said I'm pretty sure I can reach $1,000 even word of mouth. $20 here, $20 back. We can do it. We ended up feeding 132 families.
Whoa.
Dude, it was crazy.
Holy shit.
No, dude, it was crazy.
It's not even in the same ballpark.
It's 132 families.
That's insane. So,
nuts.
Well, okay, backtrack to that 132. So you had said 10. Mm-hmm. What did you do that sparked from, the idea of 10 to finishing it up at 132? What happened?
I was talking with someone else about the idea, and he's like, 10 is easy. He's like, you could easily get 10 people to donate $100 each.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Why did you think 10 was the limit?
Because in my mind, I have to now ask the audience to, again, go into their pockets during the holiday season, their hard-earned money, to donate towards feeding 10 families.
So now, do you feel that you were undercutting?
100%.
Like now, has that changed your perception of what your belief system is? Of what's possible and what's not possible?
Yes and no. Okay. So yes, because like if you really put the effort towards it, it could happen. But at the same time, no, because like I said, like as much as I see this brand going around the world, as much as right now, I don't know, like I still can't see it. If you understand what I'm saying, like it's a very gray area.
It's funny you say it because I don't remember. I heard this yesterday, but I don't remember from who. That's it. I was running and I used like this Nike training app, and there was this guy that was on like a coach or whatever, and he's like, you have to make your goals scary. Mm-hmm. If they're not scary, that means they're not big enough, because what it does is that it now puts you in a position of like, oh my God, how am I going to get this done? And sometimes what we do is like, we'll put ourselves goals that we know we can achieve, and you feel comfortable saying them out loud. But then you're kind of like, maybe 20 would have made you feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
So it's that idea of like,
because at 20 it's $2,000.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, how am I going to convince people to spend the money
during the holidays?
During the holidays, where they already have all these other expenses. So when I heard that as I was running yesterday, I was kind of saying to myself, it's true. Like sometimes we want to go here, But we say, okay, let me go here.
Because it sounds a bit more
It
realistic.
sounds more realistic,
Yeah.
and I feel like more and more the concept of realistic is very subjective, so it's like the 10 turned into 132. So now let's say if we talk about this Christmas, coming up, do you have a number in mind?
Yeah, but like I'm scared.
You have to say it.
It's
No, now
1,000.
you have to say it.
1,000.
So there, that's the number. That's the scary
But
number.
yes, but it's 1,000 people. Like in my head, at $100 a family.
But take the
like
real.
it's nuts.
But think of how nuts. Now, okay, you
Yeah.
thought 10 was going to be nuts if you could get it, and it finished at 132. There's something about what you're doing that is making people say that I want to help this vision. So I hope that like with this, we said 1,000. How can we help you get the
No, it's
1,000?
not, it's not.
Now you're fucked. now you're fucked. It's a
Fucked
minimum
for- yeah,
1,000.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, and I find when we do that, it's scary because now it's
It's
recorded.
on the
It's
public,
yeah. You're fucked, and I'm not editing this. I'm not changing anything. I don't edit anything we say in here. My mom called on the last episode. I left it in there.
Oh man.
So now it's this idea of 1,000, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel now that you said this number?
I'm like sweating.
Perfect.
No,
It's
like,
not just the
I'm-
room that's hot. Now you're actually,
I'm
but it's good, and
my
that's
ears are red.
yeah, and that's what's the exciting part.
Yeah.
So I hopefully you don't regret coming on the show now because now I fucked you with 1,000.
But at the same time, like I guess on the flip side, even if I don't hit 1,000, but I pass 132, I guess I'll not. I guess
Dude.
I will be happy because
Dude.
that means we're onto something.
Even if it's one, like I know
Yeah.
it sounds crazy to say that chances are it won't be just one, but even if it would be one, you helped one person that you didn't have to.
Yes.
And I think people kind of lose sight of that. Like
Yes.
you're doing something you don't have to do, and you're making it a goal to really help a lot of people.
Yes.
Now, if there's just one family that ate at Christmas time because of you, well, you did more than fucking probably 95% of people out there. So I think sometimes we think the numbers what constitutes like what good is, but the fact that you're even starting this, to me personally, like I
Yes,
know I'm
no, I
ranting
agree,
right
I
now,
agree
but you're doing
because
something different.
I agree because I did start this to create an impact. So yes, we just by creating an impact in one person's life, it could change their life
Can
and
change.
create a
Tony
ripple
Robbins.
effect. Exactly.
That one kid, saw this and now
But at
he's
the
feeding
same
a million
time-
people because of
now
it.
at the same time, if I was able to do 132, there's no reason for me not to be able to at minimum do another 132, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of
But
baseline now,
Yeah,
It
exactly.
feels like
so
that.
now there's always like that back of the mind pressure, like not a pressure, but I gotta make this happen, right?
Yeah.
So we created something for the kids last year. Like we gotta do something else for these kids. And when we did the event for those 12 kids in the foster home, the director showed up. This guy shows up dressed up in a suit in the middle of winter. I'm like, who's this guy? Like, he's not a parent because some of the parents were even able to come.
Okay.
Steph, that ripped my heart apart. That ripped my heart apart, and I said, like these kids is where I gotta be.
Yeah.
Some parents were able to come, like to spend a day with their kids. Don't ask me why, how, whatever. But like just seeing the kid with like interacting with their parent outside of a normal setting, outside of just dropping them off at the foster home or whatever the case may be. Like they were
Hold
just
on a
having.
second. So it was foster kids. So,
Yes.
So the actual parents came,
Yes.
the real
Yes.
parents.
Yes. For whatever reason, they're not able to have.
Oh man,
Yeah. That ripped me
dude.
apart.
I would have been buzzing. Now that I have a kid, dude, I can't even imagine watching a kid connect with their parent.
At the end of the event, I cleaned up everything. Everybody left, and Rocco was like, "If you can, just lock up." And I literally took 5 minutes, and I got so like caught up with emotion, and I'm like these kids, like this was nice for whatever 6 hours, but like you just spent 6 hours with your father or mother, for whatever reason you can't go home with them, and I don't know why, and I'm not gonna ask why.
Yeah.
And like now you're going back to the foster home.
Wow.
So as much as my mind went to that negative thought, as much as I said,
Oh my God.
what was the goal of this event?
Yeah.
To make them remember a happy moment. So just like make your mind stay on that. Like I said, some kids they held on to their soccer ball that we gave them the whole time because they don't own anything. They have nothing to their possession.
I can't.
Like they have a school bag. Like I don't know. Anyways, we're not gonna become all emotional.
No,
now,
but
whatever, like,
but for me, dude,
nuts.
that's
It's nuts.
I can't even imagine. Like I was saying, having a kid lately, it has fucked up my mind when I see things like that because,
It's a game changer.
yeah, it's a game changer because you see how like it's tough having a kid. I get it, whatever, all that stuff, but imagine, I can't imagine anymore, like my daughter, like living in a foster home. Like, the concept, like, I'm not saying in a bad way towards parent to kid. It's just these thoughts like that. It fucks my head up a bit when I hear it. So it's like knowing that you gave someone an opportunity to connect on that level. That's more than any fucking apparel brand. That's more than any donate. Like
But that's but
that's
so
that's at a
yes.
level that is absolutely like next level.
Wow, next level.
Dude, no, it's next level.
We're just trying to make an impact, right? Like, and
But that's next level for the kid. Like
yes,
that could.
exactly. So like my one of my goals was, yes, create an experience for the kid, but like by taking them out of their normal day-to-day routine in the foster home, I wanted them to feel like there's normal life.
Yeah.
What's normal? Normal is obviously very subjective, right? Like to them, maybe the foster home is normal, but like this is not your life forever.
Mm.
There's more.
You give
like
them hope.
Exactly. It was just create a bit of hope in their lives and like I don't know, just hopefully make a difference for their future.
Wow. And so now this partnership that you had started with Rocco,
Yeah.
is this how you met Vanessa and the Jason DiTulio? Like, because I know they're very close. Because
Everyone is
Jason,
connected, right?
Yeah.
We're all connected, right?
if your name ends with a vowel
yeah.
somehow, we
Exactly.
we met somewhere at a party,
Exactly.
at school, or at a
You
club.
nailed it. Exactly. So actually, a very good friend of mine, I'll call him the original brand ambassador,
Okay.
Danny Carlo Musto.
Okay. I feel like I know that name.
For sure you know him.
For sure. Okay.
For sure you know him. He's obviously knows everybody, and he had mentioned in the past, he's like, yo, Drew, he's like, we gotta do something one day with Jason. He's always about the kids. We gotta do something one day for Jason, and unfortunately, the circumstances came to be, and he ended up passing. But I said I still want to do something with him, and then I was so excited when I saw Vanessa started the Jason DiTulio Foundation, and I just reached out to her because she had started following me, and I followed her back. I'm like, Vanessa, listen, I don't know what I can do for the foundation. I said, but one day, like, I want to do something.
Yeah.
That's how it came to be.
It's crazy, man, because had you not had that, interaction with Rocco, then I'm sure Rocco also helped, kind of confirming the foundation and Jason and then, Danny, right? You said? And then with Vanessa, I would have never met you. So it's kind of like this insane, every little step, we never know where it actually leads.
Yep.
And so what's cool about this is that your idea, if we kind of come back, we see all these good things about what you guys are doing. And then how did you kind of keep this idea where it doesn't lose its edge, the clothing brand? Because
It has
there's
to be in
still
your face.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
It has to be in your face.
it has to be in your face because
Yeah.
you have a big fuck you, but you're doing all these amazing things.
Yes. So
How do you kind of keep the balance where all of a sudden you don't go into Sesame Street style? Like no, but it's the truth. You know what I
yes,
mean?
I
Like,
understand. So if you look at the actual logo, it's a skull hand.
yeah,
Yes, okay, it's cool, skulls or whatever. But if you look at the deeper meaning, behind our skin or under our skin, we're all bones, right? So that was the major purpose of having the skull hand, and the heart was just recovering the fuck you with the heart,
yeah.
and that's how the tagline "Spread love, not hate" came to be.
Okay. So it's cool because a lot of times when people start going in one direction where they start doing a lot of like donations and charities, they kind of lose a bit of the edge. And that's what I kind of liked about the brand was that, hey, they're doing all these nice things, but they're still staying true to themselves in what the brand logo is about.
Eventually, I know that I'll end up having like two separate entities, meaning I'll have the clothing line that'll just be middle finger and all this, and then the giving back part, the speaking to kids part will be probably like a Spread Love Foundation.
Okay.
It'll probably be something along those lines.
That's
And
kind of
then
the
and then I'll
vision.
be able to branch off, and I'll have the own clothing line that's very loud in your face and all that stuff, but that's also funding the Spread Love Foundation.
Got it. So now, if we go back to maybe the apparel side of things, right? I saw that you did a few partnerships now with retailers, but I think the part that I liked mostly was the reaction. You look like a fucking kid smiling.
That was crazy.
Dude,
was
I'm
crazy.
looking at those pictures of
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and you
That's
are
crazy.
ear to ear smiling like you couldn't, like the way I saw those pictures or the way I interpreted those pictures of you was that you couldn't believe that this is happening.
Steph, I started this in February of 2021.
Yeah.
Am I right? No, 2020. And I'm even lost in my 2022. 2022.
Okay. So it's only a year and a bit. Well, a year and a half, let's say.
Yes. So it's only been so long. And when Club Omo had reached out to me, he's like, Drew, bring your stuff here. Like, what do you mean? Like it's over a year I'm doing this. It's not like as if I'm doing it 5 years. We're a whole established brand and all that stuff. Like I'm just selling T-shirts. He's like, no, bring it.
Yeah. How did that start? Just in general, like who reached out to who?
Marco from
Albanese?
Club Homo
Yeah.
reached out to me. I've known him for a while. He's known my family, and he's like, come. He's like, bring your stuff. Like, yeah, but Marco, like, I'm a nobody. Just bring it.
Why do you have that feeling that you're nobody?
Because like what is this, right? What is this brand? We just started. Yes, I'm trying to make an impact, and I like that question because will I ever feel like as if like the brand became something? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Will I ever feel satisfied that we impacted enough lives? I don't know.
Yeah. So when you think of the brand now, from when you had this idea in your gym session, and you totally fucked over that client because you weren't really paying attention. And now you had this idea that has spawned into an idea to give back. The idea to give back has spawned into really the apparel. And I'm seeing all the pictures now, you're posting up these new hoodies and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you have this partnership. Like, do you ever take the time?
Never. I don't know what your question is. Never. Like, more.
Yeah, let me finish the fucking question.
Go for it. Go for it.
Do you ever take the time to reflect on what's happening so quickly? And does it kind of, since you haven't, and I don't know if that's still the answer, why not? Why don't you ever take the time to realize what you're doing?
But I guess that mindset has always been with me. It's almost as if it's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
So being a personal trainer in a past life, we'll say, fitness has always been and is always a major player in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But because of how hard I am on my health side, meaning not because I'm beating myself up, but like,
Yeah, you push yourself.
you have to eat a certain way. You gotta follow a certain protocol. Like there's certain things to be done to make sure that your body's optimized. And I feel like because there's always, okay, you're training this hard, you can maybe put in an extra day. You can maybe eat a little bit cleaner. You can maybe change up. You can maybe not have that dessert. So because I'm always trying to like fine tune and it's never perfect.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good but a bad that's being brought into the brand. That the drive is there, the work effort is there, but I can say maybe in the year and a half that I started this, maybe I stopped to think like, okay, like we're onto something.
Yeah.
It's always in the back of my mind, yes, we're onto something, but it's never, wow, look at what we've done so far.
Yeah.
It's also, I don't like to throw flowers at myself. I don't like to pat myself on the back like, okay, buddy, find another one.
Yeah.
Impact more lives, grow more, do something else.
Do you feel like in one way that's an amazing feeling because you're always on the drive, but then at a certain point it can be also feeling like it's never enough, and then it comes in, hits you in a negative way at times.
100%.
Like when you have those moments where you're saying it's not enough, maybe I could have done more. Are you? What's kind of going on in your mind? If you can give us like maybe a snapshot of the type of dialogue you're having.
Okay, so we'll do Sunday to Saturday, 7 days.
Yeah.
Sunday to Saturday. Sunday is relaxed day. We're good. Thinking about the week. Okay, what are we gonna do? So we're feeling neutral with the brand. Monday, I'm optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
We're going, okay, we're going to post. We're going to put this up. We're talking about this. This is what's happening later on. We have this event coming up. We have that next month. Okay, whatever. Tuesday, we're good. Wednesday, okay, we posted 2 or 3 times already. Nothing's coming in. We haven't got any donations yet. No one shared anything yet. No one reached out. So, like, it's almost as if it's dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, I'm like, why am I still doing this?
It's crazy how they're
and then Friday, okay, share some more stuff, try to post a bit more. And I said, okay, but why are you still spending all this time on this brand?
Yeah. So the doubt kicks in every time, week.
Almost every week, doubt always kicks in.
How do you get over that?
Just keep going. It's literally like, put out one more post, put out one more thing, reach out to one more person, get on a podcast.
Yeah.
Just keep trying. Because I know that deep down, I'm onto something.
So it's funny you say that, because everybody that I know that has ever done anything ever successful, or anybody that I've ever read about that has done something that has gone from nothing to something, always says that in all those times where they always wanted to quit, they just knew they had to go. Like there was a gut feeling, there was like a purpose involved. what do you think is your gut feeling and your purpose when it comes? Because you say every week you're going through this fucking battle mentally.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's nuts. Like and I can relate to a certain extent on a lot of stuff that I've done, and the stuff that I continue to persevere on. I know there's that underlayer of that gut feeling and that purpose, and every time that underlayer of like that that bottom layer of purpose or gut feeling is not there, it usually dies. Whatever that idea is. So if you tap into that, or if you can try to, because it's so hard to verbalize that gut feeling.
100%. Yeah.
What is it about that gut feeling that on Thursday where you're saying fuck this, why am I doing this, and Sunday comes around where you kind of relax for a second and say, okay, what are you doing mentally to talk to yourself to say let's just keep going, and why, and then the underlayer of why
Because
I should keep going.
this is greater than I am. It's gonna sound cheesy, like I just got shivers. It's gonna sound very cheesy, but I in this whole brand, this whole development, this whole impact that we're making. I feel like I'm just another little pawn. Like I'm just a person trying to grow something that's really gonna make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years, if I'm still gonna be the one behind it or whatever. But I know that I'm trying to grow something that will create an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Considering in a year and a half we've donated monetarily, I want to say over $18,000. We've impacted hundreds of lives in a year and a half. What can we do in 5?
Yeah.
Maybe I can't bring the brand in 5 years to where it has to go, but I know that I have to keep pushing it because somebody out there somewhere needs something to happen in their lives to impact them for the better. So that I guess that's the driving force behind it. It's like we need to create a change for the future, because like how much longer are we gonna continue walking around like we gotta stick up our ass and like we can't talk to anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and realize like at the end of the day we're all humans.
Yeah. Do you ever reach out to the people, like let's say from last year, and I know you let's say with the director level or whatever, but do you ever, are there some of the kids or whatever, or some of the people that you've helped? Like I remember, let's say the women, I think domestic abuse, I think that second month. Do you ever have some of them that reach back out to you about that, or you've reached back out?
So
or?
it was a direct donation to a shelter. So
Okay.
we didn't necessarily impact one person in particular, but we may have helped the
organization.
shelter or the organization come up with different programs, and I'm all for that, right?
Yeah.
The foster home, I have spoken to the educator every so often, and he's like, he keeps or when I see him, he's like, oh, they keep asking, le monsieur de le soccer, est-ce qu'il revient pour nous voir or something like that?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
other than that, like, listen, we've done so many different things. I'm not looking for that recognition.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for you to be like, oh my god, this was amazing. I almost want to drop it off and leave.
Yeah. Why? Because I'm a bit like you. Like, let's say when I make a donation or something like that, it's anonymous. I don't want people to know my name or anything like that. I don't talk about any donations that I make. I don't really do any of that, because then I feel like if I talk about it, people do they think that I'm doing this to get people to think that I'm doing so? It's like this weird
100%.
dichotomy that's going in my head, and then I'm like, dude, no one's
Who gives a
thinking.
shit?
Who gives a shit what they think anyways? Like,
Yep.
just fucking do it, because ultimately, like, it's not about you. It's about helping this other person.
Well, like, no, we'll backtrack again. In 2020, when everything happened, I was fortunate enough to still have work. I was still working full time. Yes, okay, construction closed for 5 weeks. Yes, I work in construction.
That too.
So
when you told me you were in construction, we got to get to that. How the fuck construction and apparel happened? But we'll get to that.
So in 2020, I was fortunate enough to work, and I turned 30 that year. And I said, you know what, for my 30th birthday, I don't want anything. I want to just donate, because they gave me back the aspect of it. So every month, literally anonymously, I would make sure I was anonymous on GoFundMe. I would donate. On the end of the month, I would donate. Whether it be like $50, $100. It wouldn't. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I know so many people that know so many people. Like, how can we do this on a bigger scale?
Yeah.
And that again, fueled the, okay, how can we grow FAHKU?
Yeah.
How can we grow this brand to make a bigger impact? How can I tap into my network?
Yeah. We sometimes don't realize how big a network is.
Yeah.
Like, when I started this podcast, it was the same thing. I was like, who the fuck am I going to talk to?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. And then I started, like, kind of opening up my phone and said, you know what? I always loved that story from him. Like, I also was cool. How come more people don't know about this, or what she's doing? I think that's really cool what she's doing. And then you start realizing, you're like, oh my God, you know quite a few people. You can do a whole season. That's how I
Yes.
looked at it, of
Yes.
a podcast,
Yep.
of talking to people that have really good stories. And then through that, it was like, okay, this person knew this person, like Vanessa. I end up meeting you. I did another one. I got people contacting me.
Yeah.
You should
Reach out to
interview
them or
this
whatever.
person. You should reach out to this person. And so it's so funny how we don't realize how really, even if it's a small network, it's a huge one because everyone knows someone.
Yeah.
So it ends up coming back in a multitude of ways of just new people that you meet and hear stories that you've, like your story. Like, I didn't know this even existed, and it was that post, that connection. So on your side, when you started tapping into that network and you started building through this, did it kind of give you, okay, we have something here. Like, not only do we have an idea, but we also have maybe a potential audience that we can connect with and do something special. Because you were saying the team aspect now of all these people involved.
So I'll agree with you 100% on that. But at the same time, how can I say this? Okay, man, I lost the words. So within the network, yes, tapping into the network, we reach out to more people. Like, I wouldn't have been able to get in contact with certain people, but at the same time, I feel like I also had to put my own guards down and start posting and start putting videos of myself.
How did you feel about that?
Dude, a year and a half later, I'm still anxious.
What are you anxious about? Like, what's going on in your mind when you're about to post it? And how long does it take you to actually press post?
On
Upload.
average, the campaign launch is about 45 seconds. And I say campaign launch at the beginning of every month. I do a campaign launch to talk to the audience about what I'm doing. And for that 45 seconds, I think I record maybe 6 or 10 minutes of videos.
Okay.
And out of the 6 minutes, it's 5 minutes of like
Swearing.
and losing it. And like, you sound like an idiot. What are you saying?
It's crazy. Yeah.
What are you, a weatherman? What are you talking about the weather for? Like, no, Steph, this mind goes nuts.
Dude,
Nuts.
I was laughing because I was trying to film something the other day, and literally I was mumbling my words. I felt like such a fucking idiot talking about it. And then I looked at the camera, and because Chris is like, he's I guess a producer of the show too, right? And he helps with the edits and all that stuff, and he's fucking helping with this whole project. And I just looked at the camera and said, "Fuck you, Chris. Fuck you, Chris. I know you're gonna laugh when you." And I just started giving him shit on the camera,
He's not even here.
He's not even here. I'm talking to the fucking camera, and I'm saying, "Fuck you, Chris."
But it gets it off your chest, right?
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
needed to say it.
Yeah.
I needed to say it.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy how we put like so much pressure on this video that it's 45 seconds. So like, how do you get over that? How do you have like the courage to say that it's not courage, because it's not like you're walking through fire, but like, I guess in one sense the courage or the balls to say, okay, you know what, this is good enough. I'm ready to go, because it's 10 minutes for 45 seconds, right? So
I get fed up.
it's just I got
I'm fed up.
I'm not.
I'm fed up.
I'm done. I can't do this shit. No more.
I'll post it. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Whatever.
what happens after?
It fucking explodes.
It's so fucking insane.
Like, terrible.
It's
It's
cra-
terrible. I have no professional microphone. I'm using my iPhone.
It's
It's on
crazy.
a stack of books that's leaning against a desktop.
It's so ghetto. I love it.
And, and the screen of the desktop is on full blast for the light if it's not daytime. You understand? Like, so in my head, I'm like, I don't even have a stand for my phone.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna get you for Christmas.
You understand? Like, I don't have a stand for my phone. I'm like here I am trying to like reach out to thousands of people. I don't have a stand for my phone. I'm stacking it on things. Sometimes I have a bottle, I don't know,
And
Patron
you're
or
leaning
whatever. It's like on the bottle. It's
and
leaning.
it's leaning forward, so you have some sort of an angle.
Fuck, stop moving.
Well, actually, the promo that we did for the shoes, that we're doing like this contest for shoes, I took Sandy's phone, the artist that was there, and we put it attached to this camera right here, and we used like green painting tape, and so it had a bit of a lean on it. So like, we looked at each other. That's why I put the post. I'm like, so ghetto. This is so fucking ghetto. But it was amazing. Like,
It worked.
it
It worked.
kept it real. That as
Yes.
long as the point of this
Yes,
is
yeah,
not
yeah,
about how the
yes,
camera
yes,
was
yes.
recording. It's about the message that needs to come
And
across.
I feel like, now back to the network, I feel like because everyone in my network realizes that it's real, and they know, man, it's not like super produced and super edited, that they can really tie into the brand, and they really
Yeah.
tie into the message, and they get it.
Well, and that's what it is. I think that's what I liked about it too, is it does feel like this is your project and you're seeing the growth of it. Like because I love to do that. Like whenever I have someone coming on, I go to their first post. I always
300
scroll.
something posts later.
And then you just watch and you're like, and you see through the posts the growth. Like that's how I get to know the person in one sense, because you usually post either something you're really proud of or something that made you laugh or something like it gives a sense of character of who that person is. So when I saw that you have a baseline of character that is there from day one, like the first post is very similar to still what you're talking about today. So there's this foundational piece that's real. Or else you would have changed it if it wasn't you. Like you would be chasing whatever fucking message felt cool for the month. And there's that message of just of the giving back from the day one, doing something to help people. And then now you see the growth of it. Like you see the pictures of the apparel pictures are looking cooler and nicer. Like you're seeing, the studio shots. Where the fuck are you shooting some of those things? It looks like this cool like garage with cars and
Okay,
like,
that one there, that was like, so my first photo shoot, I just managed to get like 2 sizes in hoodies in. I got like 2 crew necks in, trying to scramble for a female model, trying to like reach out again to the network. Who can I get as a female model? And it's actually a tattoo shop. At the time, it was a tattoo shop slash body shop slash barbershop.
dude, which place
So,
is this? Is it still exist or?
I think they're closing down.
Okay.
It's called Illumina, and the owner, the artist, I had reached out to him in the past. I wanted to get a sleeve done, and if I was gonna do a sleeve, it was with him. So when I got off social media, I always remembered him, and when I got back on, I started following him again, and I saw he launched his own barbershop, and slash tattoo shop slash body shop, and I see his tattoo shop, and I'm like, this place is insane.
Oh, it looked
And
amazing.
I didn't go visit yet, just through pictures. I'm like, this place is sick. Send a message, not to him, to the shop's Instagram
page,
page. Yeah, a couple thousand followers. I said, okay, I may be luckier to get through to the shop's page than through his. I get through to the shop's page. I managed to set up a meeting with them. I go in person. I'm stressing because now again I'm working construction full time. It's the winter. I'm dead tired because it's super cold outside. I'm in my car getting changed to look half decent.
To look like
Maybe
you have an apparel brand.
Maybe wear like I'll bring my book with the moleskin cover.
Yeah.
Just to say like I look half professional. And I get there and I meet one of the owners, and I start pitching him the idea of what I want to do. And I said, "This is my first photo shoot. I love the spot. Like your place is sick. Like I love the vibe. The colors match perfectly with my brand. Like as if I was like doing this for thousands of years, right? I just designed the shit out of it.
You gotta say at the beginning. You're like, I just gotta say something that's gonna stick.
And he's like, you know what? I've done stuff like not for profit stuff before. I've done donations before. He's like, we'd be more than willing to host you, and we'd be honored for this to be your first photo shoot. I said, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, and I'm like, how much would it cost? Like, you have to anticipate all these fees. He's like, don't worry about it.
Oh,
He's like,
cool.
it's on us. He's like, we understand what you're doing. You understand what I'm doing? It's a month I'm doing this.
I don't understand what I'm doing.
Exactly. But he's like, it's on us. Come.
That's amazing. How did you feel knowing that someone like that? Is that the first time someone really kind of like you connected with and saw the vision and helped you out in that level? Was that the first time?
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I was blown away. I said, there actually is nice people out there. I was blown away. And a part of me is like, okay, now I have to find a way to get back to them. I don't know how. Maybe one day I'll be able to get back to them. Yes, the day of the shoot, I brought the 2 owners like some apparel, like whatever you guys want, whatever I have. Like I have a very limited collection right now, but whatever I have, it's yours. Take.
Yeah.
Till today, some of them they're still wearing my stuff.
That's cool.
It's nuts.
Do you ever walk by on the street and see someone with a t-shirt and you're like, holy fuck? And like, have you had that
No,
experience?
but everyone, like people around me, oh, I saw your t-shirt at the mall. I saw your t-shirt at this place. I saw your t-shirt at the restaurant. Oh, I went for coffee. I've yet to come across somebody else wearing it.
You haven't seen it yourself?
No.
So everyone else is seeing it? So
I haven't seen it yet.
That's amazing.
Maybe it's not enough people wearing it.
Yeah, as I said, now we got to fix that now. Well, look, man, I know we could talk here all day, but one thing that I wanted to make sure that we also, before we finish, there's a few things. How people can connect with you. What's your Instagram page exactly so that people can reach out and see everything, all the good stuff that you're doing. And also, is there something coming up? Because I know we're at the end of August, so I know you're closing up probably a campaign. But is there already something in place for September? So
September, October, November, December.
Okay, perfect. So let me know I'd love for you to kind of maybe dive in a bit on that of like what you have set up for September, let's say.
So Instagram page is FAHK.United.
Okay.
So FAHK.United for all humankind.United. You'll see right away the logo. It's kind of a giveaway. August, we're wrapping up August with the school bag giveaway.
The sac à dos, right?
Opération Sac à Dos. As it stands right now, we're at about 80 bags worth of donations, like the actual supplies.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. Last year I did 42, and now I'm almost at double.
That's amazing.
My initial goal was 200.
So do we have to call something again? Another number here?
I think we're gonna get there though. I
amazing.
think I know there's less than a week left to August, but I think with some last minute donations, I think we're gonna hit somewhere around the 200 mark.
That's
which
amazing.
Is amazing. Like
it was 34, right, or something like that. You had said
42 the first
42.
one.
That's it.
Yeah. So we're 5 times bigger. It's very good. September. This is where the fun part is. Is that when we spoke on the phone, you said, "What's your vision for the future?" My vision for the future is to be the new GoFundMe. I want to be that platform you're going to create a campaign to give back for the better.
Okay.
I have nothing against GoFundMe. I think their business model is amazing. I read a lot about them. I've read about like how they came to be and whatever. But I feel like I can bring a different edge to it with a wearable donation.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see the final product. Like, where did my money go? And that's where I went. So now, coming back September, someone reached out to me. They said we want to do something for a family member that's being bullied and they're starting off school. So whatever I was gonna do December, I said scrap it. I want to do
that person contacted you?
Yeah, they said, can we do something?
That's
and I'm
amazing.
like,
and this is what, an organization or a person?
A person.
Wow, randomly.
Yes, and a person that is how can I say this? Has a lot more connections than I do and has like a bit more reach than I do. But I said, I'm in. Sure, why not?
Yeah, why
whatever
not?
I can do. Even if I'm donating $50, like whatever I can do to be a part of it, I'm going to be a part of it. So in September, I'm going to be launching it September 1st-ish. And we're doing something for the kid that's being bullied. We want to give back and do something for him specifically. The kid's going to remain anonymous. October is mental illness. What we're doing is an event to be determined when it is, but Love Culture is an event that we started in February. Our tagline is not your average fundraiser. So we do a fundraising event once or twice a year, and I say we, it's myself and 2 other girls from a company called Made to Hype. They've been with me throughout this whole journey. Crazy experience, both of them. Like, they're amazing. So we did our first event in February for anti-bullying.
That's amazing.
We raised $2,750 for an anti-bullying organization that goes into schools to speak about anti-bullying and anti-racism and like just educating the kids on how to be nicer in school. So we're going to be doing another event, Love Culture 2, for mental illness. So that's going to be for October. November is most likely going to be something again for the kids in the foster home.
Yeah.
On a much larger scale, like larger. May not be an event, maybe like a...
And again, will you be working with Rocco again on that, or?
If he wants in, of course, 100%. I that's one thing I don't obligate anybody to. There's no gun to your head to buy a t-shirt or a hoodie. There's no gun to your head to donate it. Like, there's zero obligation. If you feel like this is what's right for you,
then be a part of it.
Then be a part of it. And I don't.
That's the best.
Yeah.
There's whenever someone feels you've asked them to do something, and then they're kind of like, you reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to do this? It's not that it's a bad thing, but there's nothing like when someone says, I want to be part of this.
Yeah.
You know, that means they want to be there. You can count on them if you need that extra help or whatever, if something comes up, because they don't feel pressured to do something now that you ask. So I totally agree. Like, but I never force anybody. You want to come, like for you, if you want to come onto the show, great. I'd love for you to come. If you don't want to come, that's okay too.
If it's forced after, it's not real.
Yeah, the conversation's not going to go well. You know what I mean? So.
And even like throughout, from when I started, people, I want to be a part of it. What can I do to help? What can I do to help? Like, I can have like a list a mile long of people that saying that they want to help. My classic response is, if I'm posting something and you would be a part of it, message me.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm so much more important than anyone else, but I cannot keep track of who's asking for what, for which campaign, for how you want to be a part of it, for what you want to do.
How big is the team? How big is your team?
What do you mean? I'm the team.
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, okay. I wish I had a team.
No, that's what I'm saying. Your eyes lit up. Team? Someone say team?
I wish.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're alone, so you do need that extra. Like, if someone reaches out, like, reach out to me, because you, as an entrepreneur, you're also doing an extra. Being an entrepreneur is already tough, but you have a layer of like foundation side and giving back, where not every entrepreneur is even thinking about that, and that's part of your business. That's part of like, that is a branch of like the mission of this business.
100%.
So that's an extra layer of pressure and stress and stuff, and making sure that you're connecting with the right organizations, vetting them, taking care of, talking to those people, make sure those events, like that's on top of running a business. Like it's an extra fucking, it's an extra headache. Not a headache, but it's an extra definite task, a huge task that you have to take care of. So definitely, you know what I mean? It's only normal. Like putting that message out, like, guys, I'm one person, like reach out to me. I'm interested. I'm always open to new ideas.
Yes.
You know, that's something that maybe your message is message me, get me, contact me, reach out to me, because sometimes I'm in the weeds of all these things that it's so tough to do that extra layer on top of it.
But at the same time, I'm also trying to keep in back in my mind, like, who do I feel would fit with which campaign? And not because I want to put everybody in a box and, oh no, you're only good for this campaign. But much as I tell people to reach out to me, as much as like, if I feel like, again, someone like Rocco, he's all for the kids, and I feel like he would be like an extra layer of help for the event, I'm 100% going to reach out to him.
Oh yeah, it's a good fit. Like, it's not just about someone that wants to help us. Is it a good fit? Like, I found you were a good fit for the show. So it's not everyone is a good fit for a show, you know, for it to come out. Not because I'm vetting, but there's the story. There's a good story here. I think we could talk about this for 50 minutes. And sometimes you can't talk about it more than 10, you know. And if that's the case, it's not that it's a bad story. It's just maybe not long enough yet. Let's talk when there's a little more meat to the story. But man, that's amazing. So look, people can follow you on Instagram. They can help out with all of these events that you're doing out. If you like, I'm starting to ask this question a little more often, because I feel like it's a question maybe you had said you don't even take the time sometimes to recognize these things. If you could maybe go back and talk to yourself from 5 years ago, or let's say that gym session, and say, this is what's happening today. And you kind of have that conversation. Like, what do you think you would tell that person?
Fuck off.
Which person?
The 2019 person telling the person today?
Yeah. You wouldn't believe it.
Bullshit.
And so that's that version. But what would you tell that one from 2019? Like now, the 2023, what would you tell that 2019 version of you?
Start earlier. Start sooner.
Yeah.
Start now.
Don't
Go
be
home and do it now.
Don't be such a pussy.
Yeah, do it
Just
now.
do it.
Do it right now.
That's crazy.
Like it's going to happen. Do it now.
Yeah. Good, man. Look, Giuliano, it was great having you on. I really enjoyed the story.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
I hope I made you sweat a bit.
Well,
we have 1,000, and I'm going to repeat it one last time. We have
December.
1,000.
That's why we talk about December, and that's the last part of it.
Exactly. So look, December, we have 1,000 that we're going to try to help you with too on our end, and whatever we can do, like whatever I can do on my end to help get people aware of it, like definitely want to help as much as I possibly can. And I think it's a great story, and I hope to see the brand in more stores, and just hopefully one day you get a team and you're not alone doing all this shit. So thanks again for coming on, man.
I just want to also reiterate
that
as much as I said I don't have a team, as much as I have a huge support system around me.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that it's very clear. It's not a me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
And that's why I always refer to we.
Yeah.
When I talk about the brand, it's always we. Because if you're not directly involved with the brand, you are involved with the brand by sharing a post, by liking it, by commenting, by talking about someone else, talking about it to someone else. It's more than just buying the stuff. By you messaging people, by you spreading the word about the brand, anything, you're part of the team.
Good save. I like that. Dude, thank you so much, man, for coming on.
Appreciate it.
And we'll keep in touch for sure.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Awesome. Dude.
Sick. Sick, man. Thanks.
Happy you did this. Hey, thanks for checking out the show. It's been awesome working on this project. And if you like it, tell a friend. And if you want to support the show, you can by 1, subscribing and liking our YouTube channel at the DMW Podcast. 2, you can go to our website and sign up to our mailing list at the dmwpodcast.com. And 3, you can follow us on Instagram at the DMW Podcast. Thanks again for all of your support. My name is Stef, and this is the Dead Man